Hey guys, back here at Tea Time Virtual Golf. Wanted to run through a few tips today on how to improve your ball striking. So that's something that I think every golfer is interested in hearing about. So I've read a couple articles recently and picked a few little tips to give you guys that are simple to think about, where hopefully you can see a better improvement on your ball striking and your consistency. So one of the things that we talk about is setup based. So when you're lining up, you want to make sure that the ball is right off the center of your chest. So that's going to be your sternum. That's going to be the midline body marker. So with irons, everything's going to be addressed there. So there's no really need to manipulate that unless you're trying to influence ball flight. As far as how high or low you're hitting it, then if you're going to mess with that ball position a little bit. But if we're just hitting our standard iron shot, middle of the stance. Second thing is you want to feel like the buttons of your shirt are over the golf ball. So I want to feel more tilted at the hips to feel over that golf ball. So we've got these buttons on my shirt here. That's a good marker to focus on. Number 3, you want to make sure that the hands are ahead of the golf ball every single time. I have a lot of students that'll set up back here because I think the thought process is, oh, I've got to be back here to really encourage getting that ball up in the air, which is actually going to do the exact opposite of what we want, which is going to cause a lot of thin shots, fat shots, flipping of the hands, which is going to create a lot of inconsistency in our ball striking. So setting up, center of the stance, buttons over the ball, hands in front. And the other swing key that I like to think about is as I'm coming into impact and I've done the proper weight shift, I'm in a good plane, is I like to feel like my hands are ahead of the golf ball like they were at address, but I also have this right wrist angle here. So how that happens and how I maintain that is I've got to allow some extension of that right arm at the golf ball here, right? So I come from this position, and now as I continue to rotate, that extension of that right arm happens, and I'm able to maintain that right wrist angle for as long as possible. So that was a swing key that Johnny Miller, when he was in the top of his game, he really thought about, was maintaining that right wrist angle for as long as he could here, and then the release and extension happens out after impact. So a lot of times I see people and they throw that club back here and they cast it, or they fall back here and they flip it like I talked about at the start. So if we can think about allowing those hands to drop, right arm extension, hold that right wrist angle, then release and extend down our target line, that'll give us a few things that'll help us hit the ball a little bit more consistently, square on the face, and we're also hitting ball then grass to create the divot that we want, and we're not bottoming out here catching ground before we hit ball. So those are a couple tips that you guys can utilize when you're at the range. Very simple. 2 of those just had to do with setup, from ball position and feeling like my chest is over the ball. And then the other one was just more of a feel of how those hands have to be delivered into the golf ball as we're coming through impact. So I hope you guys enjoyed that one. It's a little bit shorter lesson today, but as always, try to keep it simple. Don't overcomplicate things. And if you have any questions, go ahead and drop that in the comments and let me know if there's anything that you would like to see on upcoming videos. And as always, please subscribe, and thank you for watching.